Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Cece, and yes, I'm back. Welcome back to Let's Talk USC Women's Basketball. And I got to thinking, today would be a good day to look at the post players. Look, this is a guard-heavy league. And when March hits, it's usually the guards who win you games. But I got to thinking, over 30 games, through injuries, foul trouble, and back-to-backs, post presence and front court depth can swing a season. So I'm going to break it down for you. And here's how I'm breaking this down. Post players that will definitely make an impact. Number 1. Number 2. Post players that could make an impact. Yep, those post players we really don't know if they're going to make or break their team. 3, teams with the deepest front courts in the Big Ten. And you know what? I had to look at the most intriguing post situation in the Big Ten. Because, the post matters. Now let's talk about post players in the Big Ten that we know will definitely have an impact. There's not that many, right? But we're going to talk about the few that we know are going to have an impact for their team and in the Big Ten. Now, let's talk about probably the most dominant post in the Big Ten. And yes, she's from that other school, Lauren Betts. But if you look at what she does, she's 6'7", and last year she averaged 20.2 points per game, which put her in the 99th percentile of the entire NCAA. She averaged almost 3 assists per game. She averaged 4 offensive rebounds per game, 5.5 defensive rebounds per game, almost 1 steal per game, 3 blocks per game, and she had 3 turnovers per game. But what I want to talk about is Lauren Betts and what she does well. What she does well is seal deep. She can seal her defenders deep, and if you allow her to seal deep, she's going to score on you. Points in the paint. Most of her points come in the paint. 83.1% of her shots come from in the paint because she gets you deep in if you allow her to. The other thing she does well, she kicks out. So if you double her, she can kick out well to the guard. She's a good passer. But her main game is back to the basket, sealing you deep right around the rim. You know how you beat Lauren? You pull her out to the perimeter, right? You pull her out to the perimeter. She doesn't have a shot beyond 5 to 10 feet, right? She's not a perimeter player. So if you allow her or push her out into the perimeter or don't allow her to seal deep, you can beat her that way. Another way that you can beat Lauren defensively is making her come out into the lava, what I call the lava, the perimeter. She likes to play drop coverage a lot and protect that rim at all times. But if you can pull her out to the perimeter, you'll hurt her. She's not very good as far as transition points or scoring on fast breaks. As you can see here, she's in the 56th percentile, 0.8 fast break points per game, which means rim running, right? She did score 3.8% of her buckets came on fast break, which is bad. That's 10%. That's in the lowest percentile of the NCAA. So if you can force her to come out to the perimeter and in the half-court offense, not let her seal you deep, you have a good chance of stopping Lauren Betts. And that's what her game is. So that's what I say about Lauren Betts. She is probably the most dominant post in the Big Ten if you allow her to seal you deep. It's going to be dominant in the Big Ten is Gracie Merkel. Gracie Merkel originally transferred or threw her name in the portal, and she was going to go to Maryland and then turned around and went right back to Penn State. Gracie Merkel is 6'6", and she's big. Like, she's strong in that post. She's another back to the basket type of post. Last year, she averaged 15.5 points per game, 1.2 assists per game, 3.6 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds per game, and 1.5 blocks. She also averaged about 3 turnovers a game. Again, her game is right around the rim, right? You know, she can't really move up and down the court that well, but you get her around the rim, she's strong, She's a rim protector. She'll defend, and she's good. Again, 86.4% of her points came from in the paint. That's in the 99th percentile, right? Her paint points per game were 13.4, and she averaged 15 points a game. So that tells you most of her paint points, or most of her points, came in the paint. She's not a rim runner. She's not going to get out on transition. She's one of the lowest, just like Lauren Betts, as far as percentage of points on the fast break. Hers was 4.9%, which put her in the 14th percentile nationally in the NCAA. So again, the way you beat Grace Merkel and Penn State is to pull her out, because she is going to play drop coverage. She's not going to guard on the perimeter. She doesn't switch that well. So you get her out on the perimeter and get her away from the basket. Let your guards go to work, right? Offensively, you can't let her steal deep. You have to double her. She's not that great of a passer kicking out. So if you double her and stop her from getting that ball deep, you'll be successful with Gracie Merkel. But I'm anxious to see how much she's improved from last year to this year, and if she's improved on her footwork, and if she can extend her shot to beyond 8 to 10 feet. The other thing that's going to be really cool to see with Gracie Merkel this year is how she plays with Kiyomi McMiller. How that dynamic duo is going to work together, and how successful they're going to be playing off of one another. If Gracie Merkel's going to have to come out and play perimeter, do pick and rolls, if she's learning that part, or if she's adding that part to her game, or if she's going to just come out and ball screen for Kiyomi McMiller, it's going to be really interesting to see, and I'm excited about that. The next impactful post in the Big Ten that I'm going to talk about is Grace Van Slooten. Grace Van Slooten came over to Michigan State last year from Oregon, where she was impactful at Oregon as well. She's 6'3", she's a stretch 4, she's an inside-out player. She can shoot the mid-range, she can shoot around the basket, she's a good cutter, she's light on her feet. She's going to be very impactful for Michigan State this year. This is her senior year, and I expect her to have a really, really good year. She can rebound the ball, she welcomes contact. And so if you look at her stats, she averaged 15.5 points per game, 1.8 assists. She averaged 3.3 offensive rebounds per game, almost 4 defensive rebounds per game. Steals 1.2, blocks 1.1 per game, and turnovers the lowest so far of all the posts that we said were going to be impactful at 2.3. 71% of her points came from in the paint. Paint points per game were 11.1 points, and as you can see, her average was 15.5, so most of her points, again, came in the paint. And she's a stretch 4. Like I said, she's 6'3", so she does get out on the fast break, but she's not a rim runner, but she can go on the fast break. Fast break points per game were 2.1, so a basket per game on the fast break, and percentage of points on fast break was 13.5. So you know, I'm looking forward to seeing Grace Van Slooten. How you beat her is defense. You gotta stop her from cutting to the basket. You gotta double her, but she's good at seeing that doubles coming, and she knows how to work around doubles. She can create her own shot, which is really good. If you have her guard a stretch 4 like a Kennedy Smith or something like that, she will have problems because of her footwork. So I'm anxious to see if she's improved on her footwork with being able to slide her feet and play better defensively this year, because her team's going to need her to do that. But yeah, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Grace Van Slooten is another post player you need to be watching for in the Big Ten. The next post that I'm going to talk about is Hannah Stuelke. And yes, there are a lot of questions about Hannah Stuelke because of her size. She is 6'2", and she's fast. She's a fast post. You know, that's what I can say about Hannah Stuelke. She is impactful for her team. But being that she's 6'2", she reminds me a lot of Alyssa Peely, although as far as the size comparison and trying to put her in a position where she can be successful, the difference between Hannah Stuelke and Alyssa Peely was that Alyssa Peely could take it out to the perimeter and shoot. Hannah Stuelke cannot. The advantage that Hannah Stuelke has over other posts in the Big Ten is her speed. She can rim run. She has good motor about her. She's relentless on the boards. And I'm just interested to see how effective she's going to be for Iowa this year, what playmakers she's going to have around her, and can she extend her shot to beyond 5 feet? That's the key that I see with Hannah Stuelke. Now, if we look at Hannah's stats, she averaged almost 13 points per game, 2.2 assists, 2.4 offensive rebounds, 5.3 defensive rebounds, so almost 7 rebounds a game, almost 1 steal a game, and 0.4 on blocks. Percentage of points on fast break, 7.6% of her points came on fast break, which is on the low end again. But the thing about it is, you see her when you play, you see her get out and rim run. She's fast. So they need to incorporate her more, I think, in getting the ball up the court. And paint points per game were 8.8 out of the 12.7 that she scored. So it's going to be really interesting to see what she does this year. Again, almost 70% of her points were in the paint. Percentage points were in the. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with Hannah Stuelke, because size becomes an issue, but not so much in the Big Ten because it's a guard-heavy league. But when you get against teams like UCLA and Penn State, who has elite post play, it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, so that's my list of impactful post players for the Big Ten. Now I'm going to just list. I don't have any stats. I don't have any analytics really to go on because they're just not there. There's just not enough there. But I'm going to talk about the posts that could make an impact for their team, whether they transferred in, whether they're freshmen. These are posts that could possibly make an impact on their team. So these are players who could grow into major roles. And the first player I want to talk about is Gerda from USC. 6'3", Euro stats are 13.2 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game, 58% from the field. She's a perimeter pick and roll savvy from Euroball type of player. She can shoot the three. She can stretch the floor. She's physical, she's mobile, and she's confident. Question marks are, can she adjust to Big Ten tempo? Can she get defensively where she needs to be in order to be impactful for this team? Because you know that USC is going to have to play some good defense this year. The second person I want to talk about is Yakia Milton from USC, 6'5", sophomore. She just recently received the award of Summer League Defensive Player of the Year for Summer League that she was playing in. She had limited minutes at Auburn, and I keep saying it's because she was in the wrong system. She is like the defensive anchor. She likes to play defense. She likes to block shots. She's very athletic, very mobile. She has a very confident jumper inside the paint within 10 to 15 feet. There's a high upside for her. She's a quick learner. She's a sponge. And like I said, she's only a sophomore. The question marks around her: limited in-game experience, still building offensive rhythm. So she needs to be on the floor to play to get to where she needs to get to. The next player I'm going to talk about is Sienna Betts, the freshman that's coming into that other school. 6'4", the other Betts. She's a rebounding machine. She's strong interior finisher, shot blocking instincts. She has no college experience yet, so that's a red flag, right? Adjusting the pace and physicality is going to be key for her. And then the next person I want to talk about is Ines Sotelo from Michigan State, 6'3", sophomore. She didn't get that much playing time last year, 17 minutes per game, but she's a smart cutter, can finish, understands spacing. She needs to be more physical and struggles on the perimeter when she switches out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with her and if she can develop into a stronger post player. Next person I want to talk about with huge upside is Faith Wiseman from Indiana, 6'4", great length, good high school production, potential rim protector, but she's unproven in college. She needs reps and she needs to play with confidence. So it's going to be interesting to watch her and see has she developed on the off season and if she's going to be able to help Indiana, since they really don't have any post players other than her. And then the last one I want to talk about is Elsa Lamela. Elsa Lamela, Ohio State, 6'6". Another 6'6". She's the other tallest player in the conference, right? 6'6". Last year she played. She shot 50% from the field. She has legit size. She can protect the rim. She likes to play defense. She showed flashes of dominance last season, but not where she needed to be. She's foul prone, but there's a lot of upside to her. And with Ohio State revamping its team, and they brought in Tiana Todd from Boston College, it's going to be interesting to see how much she developed in the offseason and how much of an impact that she can have for Ohio State, being 6'6" and being a rim protector. So I'm really, really excited to see what she does for this Ohio State team as well. That's my list for the posts that could have a possible impact on their team. Posts that we haven't really seen play yet, or posts that haven't been dominant for their team yet, but there's a possibility that they can be. There's a possibility that these players can grow into a stronger role for their team. So I'm excited to see what these players do, the impact that they will have for their team, and if I'm right. Now, I just have to talk about this. There is one team that is very intriguing to me that I'm sure will be intriguing to you if you didn't already know that. And that team is Maryland. Now, this video is about post, but I had to bring Maryland up because I'm intrigued by their post. Of the 15 players that they have, 11 of them are listed as guards. 11 guards, four post players. One of their players, this young lady right here, I don't want to jack her name up, but you see her last name is Mamodu. Redshirt junior, 6'3". She played for Gulf Coast State before she came to Maryland, which is a junior college. And then when she came to Maryland, she got hurt and sat out. They have an outright freshman that is 6'4". Her name is Mara. There she is right there. Maria. She is an outright freshman. No experience whatsoever. Then they have Brianna Williams, who's 6'2", who's another redshirt freshman. And then they have Nicole Fatia, another outright freshman. One's player 6'4", who's an outright freshman. Then you have nobody else over the height of 6'3". Yarden Garzon, who was their number one transfer that they got from Indiana, she's a catch and three shooter. She doesn't bang with them inside. She's a catch and three shooter. So I'm really intrigued by this. This is an 11 guard lineup. Now, I still think Maryland's going to be one of the best teams in the conference, no doubt. But how are they going to play? What system is Brenda Freeze going to put in play here? Are they going to go to a 5-out? Are they going to zone on defense because they have no experienced post players? Are they going to press? I'm sure their game's going to be transition. They're going to use speed, but Yarden Garzon, who is a key player for them, is not very fast. And they're going to have to set up their offense to where they get her in position to catch and shoot, or bounce off the screen, cut back door. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. Yeah, this team, Maryland, they're going to be playing 5 guards most of the time, I would imagine. I'm really intrigued by this team. Let me know what you think. So hey, that's my post recap for the Big Ten. Hey, so that's my recap of post play in the Big Ten. Tell me what y'all think. The Big Ten is definitely guard driven, but you still need size, rebounding, and paint presence to win consistently. What are teams like Maryland going to do? USC has the most depth. UCLA has Lauren Betts. There are teams with posts that play back to the basket. There are teams with posts that can rim run. There are teams with posts that can play defense. And there are teams with a lot of question marks who don't have post depth, post experience, or have a roster full of guards. What are those teams going to do? I'm really, really intrigued by what's going to happen in the Big Ten this year as far as post play. Who's going to step up? Who's going to rise to the occasion? We shall see in about 50 days. Until the next time, fight on.